G'day, Peter Hewitt, la-artistino. Today I'm going to review a clever colouring book published by Global Doodle Gems in collaboration with Adult Colouring Worldwide and printed through Amazon. This is a very thick book, as you can see by the spine here. It's composed of art by not one, but a whole showcase of many artists from all over the world. This book has something for everyone. If you like flowers and leaves, you've got it. Fantasy creatures, whimsical designs, people both realistic and fey. If your thing is mandalas or pattern work, there is plenty in here for you too. Typical of Amazon prints, the front cover is a thin, fairly sturdy card. The pages are thin but have a nice tooth. The front page features a plate where you can put your name and colour in this lovely flower design around it. The next pages have your publishing information, and then we get straight into the book itself, the pictures. This first picture was drawn by Adriana Volpe, and there is her Facebook address down there as well. Each of these pictures has the artist's name underneath and a Facebook address or a web address that you can pursue their art if it's something that you like. This picture I coloured in with Mikador Colour Rush pencils. They're the Australian children's brand that I prefer to use. Not very accessible overseas, I'm afraid, but they are my preferred pencils when it comes to budget pencils. Had a lot of fun with this one. I really didn't go for extremely eye-catching wonderful results. I was just enjoying myself, which I think is the core of colouring and using colouring books, is just to relax and enjoy yourself. I had a lot of fun with this. I found the paper, took the pencils quite well. It does have a bit of a grainy texture to it because of the tooth of this particular paper. You can smooth it out using a blender pencil if you like. I wouldn't recommend wet media to smooth it out just because this is a very thin paper, and as you can see it's not the best for wet media, but you can do it. I highlighted some of the white areas using a white Uniball Signo gel pen, which is my favourite type of gel pens. Whoops, I'll turn it around so you can see the name there. Okay, and I had a lot of fun with this one. I'll just quickly flick through. There is a lot in here to cover. Some very nice art, and as you can see, a huge variety from simple pieces like this, if you just like some simple line art to cover, to more complicated scenes, something a little bit surreal. This is beautiful. This is by Beth Troy. Another one by Beth Troy, absolutely gorgeous. I won't name all the artists in here, there is quite a lot, but they're all lovely. This is lovely as well. I really like the doodling in this. It's quite expertly applied. This is gorgeous. It's a very popular one that I see coloured. And this one is also by the same artist. Beautiful, a unique picture from what I've seen in the colouring world. You see a lot of things, repeated themes, very clever and beautiful, but that one is unique. These are some very interesting versions of mandalas by Dave Weiss. Lots of butterflies in this piece, this book for butterfly lovers, and here's a pattern piece as well. A pattern piece in the shape of a hummingbird. Another big piece if you like colouring large areas. I like to use these if I'm doing a lot of colour blending or colour transitions or gradients, you know, when you go from one colour to another colour. Big areas really show that technique up well. A little mandala, very detailed little piece there. Okay, a very simple piece there with wild animals in it. Here's a piece that shows a lot of grayscale. Some of these pictures do use grayscale, which I find is good. It sort of gives some shading underneath the colour. If you just put one colour over the top, the grayscale will come through and gives the picture some added depth. Some lovely floral scene, a butterfly again. There is a lot of floral scenes in here and mandalas. You won't be short for those. This is another piece that I've completed. This one I used my new Colleen's. This is another budget pencil that you can buy. I've done a review on them. If you check my YouTube channel, you can find that. These come from Thailand and they're not terribly expensive. They work quite nice on here. I did try a blending pencil here just on this leaf. I don't know if you can see it very well there. And that's blended it okay. Not perfectly, but it does the job. And I don't know if that's just because I'm using a cheaper pencil or whether the paper doesn't blend very well. But if you like blending, it will work and it will look quite nice. The rest of it I've decided to leave as its normal sort of grainy texture because I like the feel of the grainy texture, particularly in this face. And this artwork, by the way, is by Ian DeJesus. It's another piece by Ian, very cute. Pattern piece, lots of variety. This looks like it's been digitally generated. It looks like a lot of fun too. And this one's another one by the same person but hand drawn. Sorry, I'm naming some artists and not others, but they are all fabulous and you'll see them when you get your own copy of the book, if this book interests you. These are very cute, little whimsical girls. Another very simple piece, if you like that. And there, Joseph Chivery and his very distinct style. He has his own book out as well. There's another piece by him. Again, this looks like it's been digitally generated, but it's quite lovely. This one's by Kelly Dombrowski. And a second one by the same artist. And for people who like to have little sayings in their pieces, this is by the same artist who did the nameplate at the front of the book by the looks of it. I really like this one. I'm saving this one to do. A very nice butterfly. I've seen this one done by somebody on Facebook and it looks fantastic. And this one's a very popular one that I've seen coloured as well. Absolutely fantastic idea, this one. Very whimsical with the ostriches and the hats. Another simpler one for people who like to explore colour gradients. This one I've also seen done. It looks fantastic. This is another one that I've completed. This one I used my Derwent Inktense pencils. You know, I love my Inktense and I haven't had an opportunity to play with them for a while, so I really enjoyed playing with this particular picture. I wanted to use them because I want to see how wet media would perform on this. And as you can see, if I flick over, it's bled through. I used a piece of paper in between each of the pages as I do with all my colouring books. And it has also, as you can see, wrinkled the page somewhat. That, unfortunately, is the drawback of this paper, the big drawback when it comes to wet media. It doesn't worry me too much. As you can see, it still lies fairly flat and it still looks fantastic. I'd have no issues continuing to use wet media in this book, but keep in mind, if you don't like your pages wrinkled, it will wrinkle the page. Now, with this picture, I also used a little of my Faber-Castells because the Inktense tends to set very quickly. You have to work very fast with water with your Inktense here to try and avoid blotchiness, and on the bigger areas I found that was very hard to avoid. So I picked a colour from my Faber-Castell Polychromus in the face of this, I think it's a mountain lion, and just use that colour to smooth out some of the blotchiness. Not too much, because I liked a little bit of blotchiness because it gives you the character of the media that I was using. And anyway, it's turned out nice and you can feel confident using them as long as you're not worried about the slight wrinkling. This page was drawn by Lean Margot. Lean Margot also did this one. Now you've got some simple fantastic creatures and fairy there. A butterfly girl, another butterfly girl, different scene. This is very cute. Not sure if that's a rat or a mouse. To me it looks more like a rat because he's got a longer body, but he could, actually no, he's got a tiny ear, so I'd say he's probably an otter. This one's beautiful as well, very, very professionally rendered. Now you've got an interesting one here. Here's a digitally generated mandala, and here's the same mandala but done white on a black background. Here's another piece I've done. This one I've completed primarily using my tombos, these guys here. As you know, these tombos have a lovely sharp soft brush tip on one end, which is the tip I used. They also have the bullet tip on the other, which is a bit harder. I don't generally use that. And I also used my Faber-Castells on here as well to bring out some of the shadows. I used a white Prismacolor to bring out the white highlights. A very good trick once you've laid your markers down to go over some areas with pencil to smooth them out or to give you your highlights and shadows. I've also used my Uniball Signo again to dot in all the little dots. That was a lot of fun. This is a very simple piece. It took me about maybe an hour and a quarter to do, and it was very relaxing. On this one, I've just started to experiment using new pencils that I've bought, and that's a little cheap set of Mikador metallic pencils. I wanted to see how these ones went. Again, they're a Mikador, so they're probably not available overseas. They worked all right. Again, you've got the graininess, which is a product of using this particular type of toothy paper. I have to move quite quickly now. This is a rather big book. We're getting a nice little run through of every page. Hopefully I won't skip any pages. This is beautiful too. I like the little frog here and the insect. I'm not quite sure what that is. It looks like a cross between a butterfly and a dragonfly. Beaver. Most of these are orientated as portrait. There are some landscape orientations. These are beautiful as well. These ones are by Odane Summers. Another lovely piece. This is a very interesting piece to colour. I love this one too. This one will look really good coloured, I think, the same way that I did the lady with a confectionery in her hair. Some faces here. There's plenty of faces for people who want to experiment and get used to colouring in faces. One thing I will say about this book, with it being so thick, it is a bit of a trial to press it down flat. And with the binding, I'm not 100% confident that a lot of pressure won't cause some of the paper to become dislodged. So you just need to put a bit of pressure on when you're colouring towards the centre, or maybe pop something underneath this side of the book while you're colouring to help the page lie flat. Alternatively, you can remove the pages or take them into a print shop and have the book spiral bound. I haven't done that yet, and I haven't seen one spiral bound, so let's see how you go. My only thought is it's a very thick book and it might be too thick for your average spiral bound book. This one's beautiful as well, very expertly executed. That's Samantha J. Decker. This is lovely. They're all lovely actually, they've all got their own charm. Again, I think this one will look very good with the tombos. Some nice fine line art, digitally created. This one is absolutely beautiful. I love this picture by Tabitha Layden. And a second one by Tabitha Layden. Again, I love this one. Some very heavily detailed work. Now, contrast, very simple work. Again, another one that's a great candidate for colour gradients. These two are by Tamara A. Cameron. Simple horse picky in a love heart, and there's another horse pick. This is lovely by Terry Sherman. Really like this picture. And a second one by Terry Sherman as well. This one reminds me of Babe. Again, any little pig picture I think will remind me of Babe. My son used to love Babe, my oldest. Very cute here. And coming to the end of the book. This is lovely. And finally, the last pages in the book, and there is a number of them. Wonderful, because you can use them to test out your mediums before you put them on the paper. So you'll already know how your mediums are going to perform. And there is, let's see now, 3 pages for you to play with there. Okay, and that concludes my review of the directory of Who's Who of the Colouring Book Artist 2016. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'm going to have a lot of fun colouring in the variety of pictures in this book. And until next time, happy colouring!